Lunch wasn't quite that great today. Yeah, I know I have man hands, but this is really small. And there's no tomato. I really wanted the tomato. See, it's just small, like the size of a cheeseburger. And that cost $8 for this meal. Even though the fries were hot, and they put nothing in the bag, I had to ask for all this. And when I asked, they gave me a ton of it. Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. And thank everybody who is coming to my channel and listening to my dog podcast, The Dog Show with Kimberly Quintanilla. It's just a tiny little podcast, but it's growing a little bit. Thank you all who are doing that, coming and supporting that. And my future podcast that I'm trying to develop stories for right now, I've got 3 pages of possible short stories of titles that I can develop into outlines for short stories, even a few that I've just come across that maybe I can develop those into books, because I would like to, like I say, I do have a dream of being a writer, and I am a writer, but I'm not a paid author. Put it that way. In my heart, I'm a writer, but I'm not a paid published author. So I've got tons and tons of ideas already, and I'm going to be working on, I'm going to probably pick 1 or 2, maybe 2 or 3, and I'm going to see which one I think I may have 1 or 2 that I really like that I'm going to try to tonight, and maybe tomorrow come up with a little synopsis or a little short excerpt that I can read on another YouTube post. Sorry, I'm having trouble talking because there's a person walking by. It's kind of weird. Sometimes I know I'm sitting in my car talking, and then sometimes people walk by. It's a little weird. Anyway, okay, they're gone. Sometimes when I'm writing, I write down a lot of notes and a lot of ideas and stuff, and I have them on scraps of paper. And I actually told people in my family, like, when I expire, if you find all these rambling, weird notes, my mind hasn't gone. It's just my process of writing. I use a lot of reference material, little snippets of things I hear on the news, any kind of weird, strange events or stories or medical facts or phenomena, natural phenomena or anything strange, then I write it down on a little scrap of paper to remind myself in case I want to develop a storyline around it or insert it into a story. So, well, today I went to McDonald's. Sorry, I hit the steering wheel. I went to McDonald's for lunch, and it's always the McDonald's in the little town I live in. It's not the best, but we only have 2 fast food places here. The other restaurants are like home-style type of restaurants, and there's a pizza chain, but it's, I don't want to buy a whole pizza, and it's more expensive, and so I usually go to one of those 2 restaurants if I'm in a hurry or if I don't want to cook or anything like that. And I had the day off. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy a meal, and I got the Deluxe Crispy Chicken Sandwich at McDonald's. And it's supposed to have mayonnaise, tomatoes, and lettuce. And I actually did a little, I don't know if it was a mukbang or, it's in one of my videos. I think I did like a review of it or something. I don't remember. But I ordered the same thing because it was really good the first time I ate it. And this time, when I went there, it was the middle of lunchtime, and I try to usually avoid the very middle of lunchtime. I think it's like 12:20 or something. And I went, and the parking lot was pretty full because there's not a lot of places around here. And I wanted to eat inside, and as soon as I walk in, it's freezing cold in there. It is so cold in there. I don't know why they keep it so cold. And, you know, I like for it to be a little bit cool because it is hot here. Or it's humid here today. It's really humid. I have my window down because my air conditioner situation. So if you hear birds chirping and stuff like that, nature outside, and it's because my window's down. I went in there, and I was one of the first few people. I think there's a couple of people that were waiting for their food. This lady was waiting at the counter, and they have this weird setup. They totally blocked off the drive-through window with these, like you have the counter, and then it's got these wooden, like a screen that blocks it off. The whole corner of it is blocked off, and you can't see the drive-through. That's where a lot of the action is. You know, they're so busy, you know, and they got like 2 little registers, and they usually only have 1 register open because it's just not like a big busy place. Well, it is busy for this town, but not like some of the other places. And they usually normally just have 1 register open because they're right next to each other. And I think maybe for the pandemic, I think that's why they did that too. And so these other people were standing back. I think it was like a couple. And then this lady was standing over by the partition where you can't see anything. And I was standing there. I stood there for about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. And I think they have a shortage of workers. I don't know what the deal is, but sometimes I do have to stand there, and that kind of bothers me. You know, they don't just come up and hi, how you doing, and take your order. You know, sometimes you have to stand there for a few minutes. So I always have that kind of complaint, but I try to have a little bit of patience because I know it's a small town. I know a lot of times they may be going through workers. I don't know. Which I actually applied there, and I got hired, but when I found out the rate of pay, I told them no. And the manager that hired me was there today. She's there sometimes, but I was like, I don't care, you know. If you're going to pay starvation wages, you know, it's hard to find people who want to work for that. But anyway, she took my order, and I ordered the Deluxe Crispy Chicken. And the lady, I stood over to the side, and the lady was standing by the counter. You're like kind of blocked off. And so there's just this little cubby hole where the register was when you first come in. And then the rest of you can't really see very much of it. There's a little walkway where you can go into the, behind the counter, the operating area where they do all the work, where the employees are only allowed. And, she was getting really, really upset because she'd been there. She couldn't get their attention, and finally somebody came up, and I heard her asking, you know, I've been here for 20 minutes waiting for my food. And the lady told her, well, what is it? And then she got a little mad because it was, you know, it'd been such a long time, you know, and it wasn't a big order. It's like, I think she said like 3 cheeseburgers, a few fries, and maybe some drinks. I can't really remember. And I think she was getting them for her grandkids. And she was, you know, very, very upset. And then the lady goes, okay. And she went, I guess, to go figure out what was going on. And the drive-thru was just going ding, 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 you know, they were real busy. And then I waited I think I had to wait maybe about 5 or 6 minutes for my order, which, I mean, for how busy they were, I guess that was okay. I mean, didn't really bother me. But the way it happened was, the lady, actually, the other employee came back, I think the one that took her order, or a manager, and she told her, I just want my money back. Give me my money back. And she was very upset. And she was going on how ridiculous it is. I've been waiting 25 minutes and, you know, dropping complaint, which, you know, I really don't blame her. I'm not calling her a Karen, because if I had to wait 25 minutes for 3 cheeseburgers and fries and drinks that's really not a very big order. And at lunchtime, that's way too much time, you know, especially for a fast food place like McDonald's. And so that manager, I watched the whole process. She was just counting it out real fast. She gave her change, and she did not say, thank you, I'm so sorry, She didn't even try to make the situation a little bit better. And the lady was griping as she was going out. And as the lady was about to leave the door, she goes, the employee, the manager said, "Thank you," like in a real sarcastic tone. I was like, that's not right. I mean, even if she was upset, she was voicing it. She didn't curse at her. She didn't yell at her. She was saying it in a very agitated tone because, she waited 25 minutes, And so my order came up, and after about 5 or 6 minutes, and I was standing there, or actually I went to go get my Coke, got my Coke filled up, and I went and picked out a table, put my Coke on the table. I was walking back up to the spot where I had been standing. It was about 10 feet from the counter. We're all trying to space out for the social distancing still. And this lady just walked around the corner, threw my bag on the counter, just plopped down, and then she just took off. I barely even saw her face. She just barely called my number out. And so I went up there, and I got the bag, and of course it had no ketchup, no napkins, no nothing. So I stood there for another probably 2 minutes. They're all over there at drive-thru, and I guess in the back making the food or whatever. I understand they're busy. I worked for this restaurant before, and you do have to hustle, and especially if there's employees that aren't very good, aren't fast, it is stressful. So I was trying to be patient. And then finally one of the cashiers came up, and she was the one who helped me. She wasn't rude. She was being, sometimes some of the management and some of the other employees, they run certain people to death because they know that you're fast, you're just going to do whatever you're told, and you're going to do the job. And so I kind of think she was kind of in that frame, because I remember the manager was yelling at her to get something, give this out, and do this, do that, and go get the register or something like that. I heard her say several different things to this lady, younger lady. She's probably in her early 20s, I think. And she came back to the register to take another order, and the lady asked her, "How are you today?" And the cashier said, "Exhausted." And you could see it in her face. You could see how, ragged she was being run, just back and forth, back and forth. And so that lady was trying to be nice to her. And then other employees, it was just so disorganized, not very, there was not enough attention being paid to the restaurant employees inside the restaurant, because more started to come in. And then there got to be about, 8 or 10 people in line. And the girl was running back and forth, back and forth. And I got my order, opened it up, and it did not have tomato on it. And that's supposed to come with lettuce, mayonnaise, and tomato. And it's a very small chicken sandwich. And I didn't realize it was that small. I don't remember it being that small from the last. I guess I just didn't remember. I did remember that it was good and I liked it. That's why I ordered it. And I ordered it because it had tomatoes on it, because I love tomatoes. That's one of the main things that I like on a burger or any kind of food. I love tomatoes. So that is part of why I bought it. And it costed $7. I think it's like $7.99. I'm going to put a picture of the receipt in the cost of it. Okay, they also sell a $1 McChicken, which is mayonnaise and lettuce only, which is like $1 from the dollar menu. So I paid for this expensive, it was a meal. You got a drink and a fry and the chicken sandwich. And all that together, it totaled out to be $8. And I could have bought just the chicken sandwich for $1 if they were only going to give me mayonnaise and lettuce only. So I was a little upset about that. Even though that brioche bun is, so good. It is so good. If you like brioche, it's kind of a sweeter type of bread. It tastes really good on sandwiches instead of just plain white. And I was a little upset about that. The fries were really hot, really great. And then I had to stand there and ask for ketchup, pepper, because I like a lot of pepper. I really try not to eat too much salt. I don't add extra salt because they already put enough salt on it. And napkins. And I had to stand there and for about 2 minutes waiting, and she finally came up to me and she the same girl, and she gave me, I was trying not to be rude to her because I know she was very, just being run back and forth. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything to her. And they give me like a gob of it, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 ketchups and a whole bunch of pepper and 5 or 6 napkins. When they could just put a few in the bag. I don't understand why they do that. Oh, anyway, it was so super tiny also. The patty was like tiny. And I took a picture of it, and you'll see the pictures. And it was just not a good, I have to say that dining experience was not very good. It was, the employees were stressed out. They got the orders wrong. They're actually arguing a drive-through because I heard them arguing something wasn't put in the bag, or they weren't doing, or they mixed up the orders. Something happened over there. I could hear that. That lady wanted her money back. And then there was some guys that ordered after me, and it took about 10 or 15 minutes. 3 of them were on their lunch break, and it took them about 10 or 15 minutes to each get their bag. She brought out one bag for one guy, and then 5 minutes later she brought out another bag. And actually, this was another employee that did this. And this lady that did this, she's a really nice employee there. I've been going there for a long time, and I really like when she waits on me because she's a good cashier, and she's very good with the customers. But she was bringing them out, and one at a time, which she doesn't have any control over, really. It's when you go into a restaurant like that and order, it depends on how busy they are and how much food they have to put on the grill and how fast the cooks are, how they can get the food out. And I'm a very fast cook. I've worked in restaurants before, and I've been told repeatedly that you're very fast, and maybe not as much now, but I know when I was younger I was. And I've worked with cooks that were just so slow, so they didn't care, they didn't have any quality when they put out the food. And I guess that's what I have a huge pet peeve about when I go to restaurants. That's one thing I try to be polite and be nice, because I know it's a stressful industry. And I usually only complain if it's something bigger. And I did complain about the tomato. I went back up to the counter, I showed her, I said, isn't this supposed to have a tomato on it? I was trying to be nice. She goes, I think we're out of tomatoes, the young cashier. And she hollered back to one of the other employees or cook, I don't know who. And I didn't see the person, but I heard him say, no, I don't think we have any, or something like that. And she goes, I think we're out, and to me, I can't stand it when people say, and they don't check, if it's for something like that, especially since I paid for it. And they were so busy, and things were just going so badly. If it had been slow, I would have, given them a speech about, I paid for this. I picked it because of the tomatoes. Y'all should have tomatoes. There is a grocery store about 100 yards away in the same shopping center. Go get some, I would have told them that. But it would have taken forever. It would have been another argument. My food was really hot. It was actually very fresh and hot, and I just wanted to eat it. And so I was like, ugh. So had to settle for that. Sometimes you have to pick and choose, your battles, or whatever you want to call them. And at that moment, I could see the stress in her face, and she's very, very stressed out. And so I was like, I don't want to blame it all on her, And I don't think she had any real control, because that manager, I really don't like her very much. I don't think she runs it very well, or not as great as she thinks she does. I might make a complaint to the company, like a email complaint or something. I don't know how, but I'm contemplating it, because I paid $8 for this meal that I could have paid, actually you can get the large Coke and the fry and the chicken sandwich they have a $3 meal deal, add a Coke on it for it turns out to be a little over $4, but I paid $8 for this, and because of the stinking tomatoes. Ooh, that makes me mad. So I will probably never order that burger again. It's just too, I don't know. It just ruined the whole, when I started thinking about it, Why am I paying extra $4 just for this little tiny burger, which was the same size as that other chicken sandwich? So I'm not going to do that again. Okay, that's just how my lunch went. I'll be back again. Thank you for coming to my my podcast. Any of you that are listening to it, thank you. And thank you for coming to my channel, and thank you for everything.